Welcome back to Video Marketing with BDLB, Zoom edition. Today, we're welcoming on a good friend who I actually met on Instagram, Rachel Rivers, who is an interior and prop stylist for editorial and commercial photo and video productions. And she's worked with furniture and lifestyle brands across the US, including All Modern, Living Spaces, Ballard Designs, and Joybird. So why we're bringing her here today is to help us think about the videos that we're creating at home. And this could be as simple as a Zoom call or actual video content that you're creating for your business. Specifically, it's going to help us think about the space and staging behind us and how we can up the quality and make it a little bit more professional. I am excited to talk to you because, as you know, we've been doing a series of videos on helping small businesses and organizations create their own video content at home. So I'm going to start with the first question. When you shoot videos at home, and I've seen some of them on your Instagram, what do you look for in your personal space and setup? So any insight into things that we might not be thinking about, or even just things that we might be thinking about but are worth reinforcing?
You know, you have touched on lighting, and I think that's a huge one. I think natural light's important. I typically turn my lights off in my house, so I don't have overhead light casting a shadow down on me. I try to sit by a window so that the window's in front of me. Even if that means I move a table, a lot of people think if you don't have an office, then you have to just Zoom wherever or record a video wherever. But really, it's if you're doing it, especially talking to camera video, then you can move. I have my patio table in my office, even though I have a desk, but my desk is not positioned in a place that will cast the best light. So I just moved my patio table in front of my window.
Can you tell me a little bit about the lighting in the room that you're in right now? Because there's the part that we can see, but what can't we see that might give us additional context as to what you chose for where you are right now?
For my experience with video and even photo, what you see in frame is not at all the experience around you. My office desk is here. I have this other desk here that holds my big monitor, but these are also sandwiched together in the corner. So it's also not very pretty. If I use my desk right now, then I have this huge shadow on the right side of my face because the window is here. But I've just moved my patio, literally have my patio table.
That's smaller than I thought it would be.
It's tiny. It's IKEA's fold up, so you can move it anywhere you have a window, even if it's in your bedroom and you're that's a weird office. If you're just hopping on a Zoom call, then you can easily just move a small foldable table in front of your window in your bedroom.
And then you can just fold it up and put it away when you're done. I was picturing something that would take up permanent space, but that wouldn't.
Yeah. Some people think very literally on the space they're in, but when you're on film or photo, it's you literally only have to think about the spring. So what people see behind you. So it's literally my patio table. I stacked some books because otherwise you'd be looking up at me, which also isn't always the most flattering angle. So some people will, if you're sitting at your dining table, then this sometimes, it just isn't as good as if someone's looking straight in at you.
Now I'm looking at the shelf behind you and it looks beautiful. I'm wondering for small businesses who are shooting, how we can think more strategically about the props in the shot and how they either emphasize our brand or take away from our brand. So tell me a little bit more about the shelf behind you. And was there anything that you took off of that? Is that what it always looks like? And what do those items mean or say about you and your brand?
Yeah, it does change every once in a while. There was a plant that's right on the floor that was way over here, and it just happened to be barely creeping in, which looks you don't have a frame of reference of what it is all the time. So then if there's this random thing creeping in the shot, it's you might as well just take it away. Same with plants behind you. This might look good, but then now there's a plant growing out of my head. Plants are great to add life and color, but it can be on the side of you, just not directly behind you, because it's giving you a crown. I think a lot of people think of what to add in, but I do think the most important is what to take out. So there are people who maybe are sitting on their sofas in their living room, and behind them is a built-in or bookcases, and they are just normally as bookshelves are, like just, disheveled. And so what happens on video is your viewer is now not looking at you. They're like looking at all your books and your knickknacks and your things. So if there's no other place to shoot, I think the best thing is just to corral like items in baskets, remove stuff from the shelf, straighten your books versus have them all leaning and haphazard. But yeah, mostly I think it's things you take away. What's behind me is always in my office. I haven't actually edited it down too much. For me, I think they give some personality in my look. I do a lot of thrifting. I obviously am a stylist, so I style a lot of things. I love nature. So these are just kind of parts of my personality, but also my aesthetic when it comes to styling.
Perfect. Okay, the last thing that I have for you is a little game. I was on a Zoom call a couple weeks ago and I asked their permission to take a screenshot. There were about 12 people, but I think it might be really good to get your feedback. Pick your favorite, maybe your least favorite, and then a couple where with small tweaks, they could really up the quality. Like it wouldn't take much. So let's start with, which one do you think is the best setup?
So honestly, I would say the upper left corner. I think what I like most is even though there's a ton of stuff going on, it's all within kind of the same palette. So even though she has tons of magazines, she has them in these magazine holders that are white, and a lot of the coloring in the shot is white behind her. So even though it's busy, it's still creating almost like a backdrop for her. Because it's like corralled items. So even though you have a bookcase behind you, you corral your items, right? So putting them in the magazine holders, light colors are important. I think it shows some of her personality and maybe what she does. Yeah, but overall, like the angle is good because it's like looking kind of more straight at her versus from above or below. So yeah, I think that is where my eye goes.
Any that you noticed some easy fixes?
I think the third image on the top row, an easy fix for him would be just his angle. Like I'm looking kind of up from him. Even the guy on the bottom row, second image, looking up. So I think those angles would be easy fixes just to bring your computer, up to stare at your face.
I was surprisingly impressed with Megan's, the one in the second row, because I'm totally with you. It's blown out in the background. And my first thought would be you should have the window light on your face. But yet I still found her to be fairly easy to see. I'm curious how she accomplished that, like what kind of light she had in front of her. And that one felt like almost a rule breaker to me. Like my eye was drawn to that one and I liked the way it looked, even though it's breaking some of the rules that I would traditionally not recommend in terms of light. Compared to the bottom left where it's like totally blown out. You can't see her at all.
A lot of these too, it's like, I wouldn't necessarily face the kitchen because there's so much on the countertops, but I wouldn't say like swivel around because I don't know what's in front of him in this case, but something a little simpler of a background would be easy. So yeah, I think just simplifying background. So to your point, like with the blown out window, she has created almost a backdrop with the light in a way, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And kind of like, I hate this term, but thinking out of the box of like, we take our rooms very literally and we use them in a very specific way on a day-to-day basis, but it all kind of changes on video. Because again, you just have to worry about the frame.
That's right.
So
Rachel, this was so helpful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.